Hey guys, welcome back to day 2 on the Wight coastal path. We are just leaving Newtown. Got a bit of a road walk, but then we are heading around the estuary. The aim is to make it to the Needles today, but after yesterday I don't know how that's going to work out. It's definitely painfully obvious that we are not going to manage the entire coastal route in 5 days. I really overestimated my abilities and the trail yesterday with all the mud. But yeah, we're going to do as much of it as we can while we're here. We'll eventually finish it up. Still on the road. Yeah, so basically once you come out of the holiday park, you're on road for a good 3 miles maybe. I know we did at least 2 yesterday, so this is another mile or so to Shalfleet. Cut around Shalfleet, and I think we're back on the road after that as well. So just be aware that this section is a lot of road walking. I know we do get into a muddy section up here, and I'm hoping that's going to be our only muddy section of the day, but we'll see. Because once we get up on top of the downs or on top of the cliffs, it's all chalk, which means less muddy. So embracing my inner Willie Nelson with a twist. On the road again. I just want to get off the road again. On the road again. I just can't wait to get off the road again. Because we're still in March, we don't have any of the leaves on the trees, but what's glorious about this time of year, we're starting to get those beautiful flowers out. We can start to hear all that bird song. It's suddenly gone quiet. Not the motorcycle. But yeah, it's lovely to start hearing those birds with their mating calls and just talking to each other with the dawn chorus. Starting to get into one of my favourite times of the year right now. So nice to be off the road, walking through this beautiful woodland on a dry gravel track. But we have coming up, we have a bit of an option. The Wight coastal path itself goes around this peninsula, which is probably takes a good hour, I'm guessing, by looking at the map. It's at least 2k, maybe more. But if we keep going straight, it actually chops off all that. And to be fair, since we saw that yesterday, sitting on the beach eating our lunch, I'm just a little about adding that extra on, especially with the lack of miles I've been able to do. So this is where the trail splits. And the coastal path, it's 5.5 miles to Yarmouth, which is about what I estimated yesterday. So that goes down that way. But we're just going to go ahead and take this direct route. Obviously it's really up to you what you guys do, but like I said, I'm just trying to limit some of these superfluous miles, is kind of what I would call them. So you can see it behind me, kind of where we were yesterday was all the way over there. And this would take us all the way down there. So yeah, it would have been flatter because this is quite the hill up and over, but you wouldn't have got these views up here. One thing, I'm sure you can hear them behind me, that is very common on the Isle of Wight are rooks. And the rookeries that they build in all these massive old trees. They're very, very noisy. Quite obnoxious when it comes to bird feeders. Brilliant though, you know, they'll set it swinging to make the bird feeders drop seed, but they're everywhere here. I mean, you really can't go anywhere on the island without hearing them. Very intelligent birds, very, very intelligent birds, but of course they're related to ravens and crows, the smartest bird family out there. So here we are, back on the coastal path. Beautiful views over the Solent. Beautiful bird song. I think that's a long-tailed tit up there. I did get a brief view of it, but yeah, I believe it is. It's got a long tail, looks kind of pink. I think they're kind of yelling at me right now. Somewhere in this tree, there's another red squirrel. Just saw him go up, but I don't know where he's at. There he is. You can just see his tail right there. That is so, so, so cool, guys. Second one in 2 days. He's watching Kai, I think. Guys, I'm so stoked. That's the second squirrel, red squirrel we've seen in 2 days. That's really, really cool. Just sitting up there, watching us. They're so secretive and shy. It's so hard to see them. That is definitely, definitely cool. Well, we're back in the mud. I knew that was too good to last, but compared to yesterday, we've been doing all right. I'm just waiting to fall in. Well, we all know how I like a good tree. This is definitely one of those trees that is unbelievable. Just look at that curliness. So we're kind of paralleling the coastal path right now. It's literally 100 yards to our left, but it was just getting really, really muddy again when I found this little track off to the side, which keeps us a bit less muddy, a little bit more dry, a little less laundry. Man, these gorse bushes are absolutely stunning. They are chock full of blooms right now, which is great for the early bees and butterflies. What's also beautiful is that we just come over the hill and out of the gorse to the beautiful bay that's ahead of us in Yarmouth, or about 2 miles from Yarmouth at this point. We just stopped for lunch back there because it was just such a beautiful view and a great spot. This is Boldner forest and heathland, and it dates back. There is below us, which is below the cliff, which is now actually underwater, was a Mesolithic hunting ground, or seasonal hunting ground. It is now covered by water, and was covered by water after rising sea levels after the last ice age, when everything started to melt. But also there's a battery here which guarded the Solent and the passage into Yarmouth, which was absolutely fascinating. But because it's built on blue silk clay, it started sliding into the Solent in 1942 and was abandoned in 1944. There's a new battery, or 2-gun battery, that was replaced. I think it was in 1958. So I think we're going to stay up instead of doing that what I just came over. because this is extremely muddy. So the other thing to note about heathland is it grows in acidic, free-draining soil, though it's lacking in serious nutrients, where most other plants couldn't survive. So you've got the gorse and heather, and ancient peoples used to cut the heather for roofing, for brooms, things like that, and used to graze this area for agriculture intensely because it's full of grasses. But lots of really interesting stuff on the Isle of Wight, and I wonder how much of a passage or how deep, wide the Solent was back in the Mesolithic era. As you can tell, this whole coastline is eroding pretty quickly. We're not going to get too close to the edge. But you can see they've tried to do some mitigation with these concrete barriers down there, just try and limit the power of those waves coming in, crashing against this cliff, because obviously we don't want the whole island to fall into the sea, but I'm sure eventually will. This island is just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller due to erosion, and eventually, in millions of years, it probably won't exist at all. So we're back on the road again, just coming into Yarmouth. This will drop us through town, and then we'll be walking along the seafront for a bit, which will be nice. Get out of some of this mud, and then hopefully we can still make it to the Needles, because I've got one hell of a blister going on my heel right now. So, anyways, let's see what Yarmouth looks like. Well, that's outside of Yarmouth, leaving the harbour behind and into freshwater. They seem to blend together. I'm guessing Yarmouth is kind of the one side of the river, freshwater's on the other side. So there's this really cool boat, sailing boat behind us right here. You can see it with the orange sails. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it kind of reminds me of some of those oriental, ancient oriental boats. Definitely unique, so if somebody knows what that is, I'd really love to hear. Once again, we've left the coast behind and walking through these beautiful forests, starting to green up lovely. The daffodils, the celandine, star anise, I think that's what they're called. Life is just starting to bloom here, which is amazing. Kai's a little wary of this. We're sitting by this wooden guy and she's like not sure what to make out of it. This is my new friend, but Kai's like, I don't know about this one. Oh, Kai, there we go. Make friends. Good person. So we're in the Fort Victoria Country Park right now, and there's a bunch of these kind of things, but there's also a bunch of like butterflies. There's a woodland trail for kids to follow, which I think is really kind of cool. There's toilets, there's free parking here, so it would be a good place to start and stop a trail. So we're currently walking through Newtown Holiday Village. It doesn't look super inviting, I'm not going to lie, but I believe this might have been part of old Fort Victoria, as these buildings do look very military-like and military installation-like. We are back to road walking! But to be fair, there has not been nearly as much mud today, so I kind of miss being on the trail. I know that as of tomorrow-ish we'll be up on the cliffs and we'll be away from some of these roads, which will be really, really good. There's definitely something so much fun about galloping through the surf like that, and playing in the water. One horse is having a little bit of an issue with he was bucking a bit earlier. Totland Bay is absolutely stunning. Walking through here has been really beautiful, but tide's, you know, going out. I don't know if it's when low tide is, but this area looks amazing for rock pooling, especially this area we're just coming up to. We don't have time to do today, but maybe another time. Oh, that wind is biting. Had to put the sweater on. So we've just come around the corner here. We're face to face. We can see the Needles. We're not actually that far from the battery, but that'll be for another day. I know it's supposed to be less windy tomorrow, although a bit more wet. Having to detour a little bit because the whole seawall has crumbled in to the sea below us. Groins, concrete, metal and all. Absolutely nuts. Just passing another example of landslide activity on this island. There's so much on this spot, on the other part, because there's no barrier, there's no beaches to speak of where the sea attacks these beautiful cliffs. And there's just, you know, you get enough rain and these things go pfft. So yeah guys, I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I might enjoyed making it. So as always, take care of yourselves, take care of your mental health, and thanks for watching.